uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. A-side official. No negotiation needed, period. You already know what it is. The best in the building. And first on deck, Bills Boot Camp is here. Thanks for the support. For those of you that's supporting the channel, tuning in, paying attention, you already know, man. I always appreciate the first in the building. Whoever it may be, you know, I was chatting the MF and gang, you already know. Gotta show love, you know what I'm saying? Gotta show love. Salute, fam. Salute to you, bro. Carlos Rosado is on deck in the building. Shout out to you, Carlos. You already know, man. Carlos say, damn, bud. Beat Arrow so bad that Arrow Promotional Company gave the award to a fighter not even in the PBC. I know, man. You got to be careful about coming in here with those weapons like that, Carlos. You know what I'm saying? When you come in early, and really, I haven't even been 5 minutes in here yet. We haven't had time to get the temperature right yet. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, start to heat the place up. You gotta sometimes just take it easy when you about to go in on somebody. You know what I'm saying? You just can't start right off the back, man. You gotta, Carlos, you gotta learn how to break the ice. You know what I'm saying? That's what you gotta learn how to do a little bit. Learn how to break the ice. Don't take down the whole glacier. Just learn how to break the ice, man, and chip away. And then they're gonna look around and say, God damn, global warming? Is this global warming? I could have sworn just a second ago this whole place had ice in it. Okay, cool. Shout out to Big Blunts and Boxing in the building. What's good with the Blunts? Salute, brother. Cruise Gas Boxing Jazz. I'm on deck. What it do, OG? How you feeling? If you're wondering why I still have this up, I just want to, somewhat remind the ones who supposed to be reminded. You know what I'm saying? They know who they are. I just wanted to just put it up there today, just as a visual refresher. You know what I'm saying? Just like a complimentary beverage. That's all. But let's get down to the task at hand. Once again, Tank Davis fight rumors become spam central, y'all. Spam central. And Teofimo Lopez to Crawford. Let's fight. Now, as you all been paying attention, somehow, some way to keep stuff relevant because the PBC don't have a fight schedule out yet. And shout out to Team Davis. From what I understand, that Calvin Davis is out now, I believe. I was looking at Troy. Shout out to Troy, man. I was looking at one of his posts. And he gave the impression that Calvin Ford was out. So I don't know any other details about the legal situation that's going on, but they did mention that. So we've been quite curious, especially in 2024, as to when the bell is going to start to sound. You know what I'm saying? When the trumpets are going to start to blow. Because initially, all of you that's in here, y'all know that they said we was going to be sick. But right now, we're just confused. And we're not confused as to why we sick. We just confused that we haven't been able to get some type of breeze. We haven't had a dust storm. We've been waiting for this epic news to take place, and it just hasn't happened yet. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't happened. But Gervonta Davis, y'all know who he is. One of the best fighters in boxing today. You know what I'm saying? One of the hitters that's on deck. And he pretty much does what he want to do when it comes to his opponent selection. He sits at 29 victories, 0 defeats, and 27 knockouts. His last fight, as we all know, was April 2023 last year. And he went in there and finally got his hands on Ryan Garcia. Gervonta Davis is a multi-division champion, multi-time world champion. And what he has, what a lot of fighters don't have, is pay-per-view recognition. You know what I'm saying? His pay-per-view recognition, as far as being able to go in there and fight opponents that's not really considered the creme de la creme on pay-per-view, and still do very, very well. That is a unique dynamic with Tank Davis. He was able to go and fight on pay-per-view, and they're not the top name, so to speak. Even Ryan Garcia, he wasn't a top name. He's a recognizable name. You know what I'm saying? But he wasn't a top dog. So with Showtime leaving PBC, we was kind of left like, okay, what fights are going to happen? You know what I'm saying? Who are you going to fight next? Because, Tank came off, he jump-started 2023 very, very well. He had a fight in January against Hector Luis Garcia, stopped him in 9. And then he turned around and fights Ryan Garcia in April and stops him in 7. People are wondering about the highlight reel. Mr. El Chin Checker himself recently changed his name to Abdul Wahid. I want to see the next time Tank get in the ring because he is an exciting fighter. He is. But somehow, some way, man, people are desperate, like they always do, boxing people. And you have the ones that's been linking Gervonta Davis' name up to various fighters. I mean, like they don't have the patience to wait until something happened. So as you're looking at the thumbnail, it was said that Tank was going to fight, Tank was going to fight Frank Martin. A lot of people's eyes is one of these fighters that's on the come up. You know, he's attached to Errol Spence Jr. We never said Frank couldn't fight, but he didn't look all that spectacular in his last fight. He looked, one of his best fights he looked amazing in was Michel Rivera. And that's because a lot of people just had Michel Rivera as being this next best up-and-coming fighter. And, you know, they just seen him as being something special. And Frank shut that down. But what I say about that fight, it would have been good if that fight was for a belt. You know what I'm saying? At the time, the belts haven't been released yet. It would have been good if him and Rivera would have been able to fight for a belt, but it wasn't. So the spectacle started, you know, when Frank Martin turned down the alleged money that would have been his biggest payday. You already heard the storyline with Shakur Stevenson, who is currently the WBC lightweight world champion. They would have fought for the vacant belt. And it would have been good for Frank to go in there and get that experience with a multi-division champion as Shakur Stevenson and a star in the sport. And for Shakur Stevenson, it would have been a fight where people would say also, you know what, Shakur stepped in there with Frank Martin. It's not a bad fight, man. We talking about Frank Martin. It's not a bad fight. Great shit, you know? But they wasn't looking at it like, oh, man, Shakur is stepping up, fighting Frank Martin. No, that's not even the case. But Frank Martin would have had the opportunity to pretty much expand his bat signal when it comes to boxing. Not too many people know who Frank Martin is. He went up here and he ducked out of a fight, turned it down. He didn't, you know. If you want to say duck, avoid it, elude it, all that can match up. He didn't take the fight. He chose to bow out. But yet went over on a podcast and he didn't seem like, you know, he had basically got with somebody to see what he should be putting out to the media. You know, he didn't make himself look in the best of light, saying that all Shakur had to do is just get him a little bit more, which he was talking about money. And we all know boxing is a business and it's all about money, but he haven't did anything yet. This dude haven't really fought anybody, you know, and to go in there against Shakur Stevenson, look, I'm not saying don't negotiate. You know, people be quick to want to fact check me and shit, but I mention it myself. They'll say what you weren't saying that music against, you know, with Teofimo Lopez when you was providing him adulations for negotiating against freaking Lomachenko. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? Because what I said about Teofimo Lopez is the fact that you're talking about a guy that was a champion. And he went in there and did that. He was a champion. He had already won the IBF title. So he went in there to fight for the undisputed. He was a champion. Frank Martin, if you want to compare it to Teofimo, he hasn't fought no Richard Comey yet. He hasn't fought for no IBF title eliminator against a Masayoshi Nakatani. Who's been his Nakatani? He don't have no Nakatani on his record. He don't have no Richard Comey. So that's where those two, you know, need to hit the mute button. Those of you that know who you are, you know, because at the end of the day, Frank Martin was absent the remaining part of 2023, and now he's back, y'all. So let's kind of talk about what Frank Martin said, or what's out here on the boxing platforms, the Boxing News 24, on how they're talking about Frank Martin. So they say Frank Martin's cryptic message, smoke signals a tank fight. All right. Lightweight contender Frank Martin is hinting that he's got a big fight coming up for him. And some believe he'll be the guy that Gervonta Davis faced on March 30th for PBC's kickoff with Amazon Prime video pay-per-view. Frank Martin, I'm taking it to the ceiling on the next one. So you know WCS always selects to highlight the buffoonery sometime. And Frank Martin just gives me that. You know, I say this about boxing a lot. how these guys just always talk in riddles. You know what I'm saying? They give you incomplete sentences. They want you to go up here brainstorming for no damn reason when you can just lead us in the direction. Look, it's about to, close down to the end of January. And we're talking about rumors that it's supposed to be March 30th. You don't hear anything else yet? Why is this the only sport that boxers can't speak on the fight until some flyer is put out? So once the flyer is put out, the fighter goes and puts some on IG or whatever. I know Crawford and Spence did it different, but I'm saying for the majority, he said, I'm taking it to the ceiling. What does that mean? What does that mean, you're taking it to the ceiling? What is going on with you? I can't even take too much time on this, man. They said there's a lot of speculation that the unbeaten number 3 WBA, the Ghost Martin, 18-0, 12 knockouts, could be the next opponent for WBA regular lightweight champion Tank Davis, 29-0, 27 knockouts, to fight in March 30th date. So people are looking at the March 30th date as the date that the grand arrival will happen. The grand arrival with PBC, who will make their presence known with Amazon Prime as their network. We're very, very curious to see that go into play. Real talk. Just like back in the day, those of you that came up on VHS, we're really looking forward to seeing that play out. So I can press fast forward, rewind, fast forward, play. I really want to see how that plays out. Real talk. I wish them nothing but good things on that fight card. But the talk needs to match the performance, and they need a nice little card. Period. They need a nice little card. It goes on to say, what PBC and Gervonta need is someone who will create drama and excitement for his March 30th fight. They can't afford another guy who looks lost inside the ring, which Tank has to carry like he appeared to do in his last 2 fights against Ryan and Rolly. See, once again, these people who are the authors of these freaking quote articles sometime on here don't know what the F they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Hold on for a second. They said that they talking about his last 2 fights, which obviously Rolly, you know what I'm saying? Well, let me get back to where I was at. Hold on, my shit froze for a second. Hold on. Okay. So they say they can't afford another guy who looks lost inside the ring like Ryan and Rolly. The last 2 fights of Ryan and Rolly. And we all know the last 2 fights wasn't against Ryan and Rolly. Hector Luis Garcia didn't look lost in there. And Rolando Romero didn't look lost in there with Tank. He didn't. He did not look lost. He did fairly decent than a lot of us believe he would look in there against Tank in the first half for the fight. Real talk. Ryan Garcia didn't look lost in there. Real talk. Truth be told, Ryan Garcia did not look lost in there. Just because he was repeating bad habits, he didn't look lost in there. And the results were as they lie. Those fights looked like Tank was taking it easy on them until turning it up to the scored knockouts in the 6th or 7th round, which is cap. You know what I'm saying? Tank is a hunter. He's very methodical. He wasn't taking it easy. You know what I'm saying? He even said about Rolly Romero, He said he felt this punching power. He decided to just, cruise a little bit, fill him out, and then light him up. And that's what he did. They go on to say that was the Ghost Martin's only fight in 2023. And some believe that he would have gotten man, what is going on with this? What is going on with this page? I swear. They say that was the Ghost Martin's only fight in 23, and some believe that he would have gotten a second fight, and if not for the demise of Showtime quitting boxing, 2021 was a bruiser year for Martin, with him defeating previously unbeaten Michelle Rivera, Jax Mariñez, and Romero Dono. With PBC having 12 to 14 dates with their new deal with Amazon, it shouldn't be a problem to keep Martin busy. Okay. This is not about Frank Martin, but he's one of the opponents that's supposed to step in there with Gervonta Davis, the rumored opponent. And then you have El Rayo. El Rayo at 135, coming off that knockout of Chris Colbert, is really, looking good, looking solid, especially after his loss to Edwin De Los Santos. Him going in there stopping Chris Colbert wasn't anything miraculous. You know what I'm saying? We saw it coming. We just didn't know what round it would be in. But we seen it coming just based off Chris Colbert's fight with Hector Luis Garcia being exposed. And then, at the end, talking about he didn't want to get knocked out. And then, the rest of his fights coming on deck, and he didn't look that stellar. And he just had some issues. So, El Rayo went in there and cleaned it up in his last fight. Now, after that knockout of Chris Colbert, does anybody increase his Wall Street by potentially walking in there with Gervonta Davis? Hey, they'll give him the benefit of the doubt, because El Rayo can fight, man. They'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it's a lot of people, including myself, that like Jose Valenzuela as a boxer. Real, I think he's an entertaining fighter. Should Tank fight somebody who pretty much has 2 losses on his record, but really won, because a lot of us, including myself, thought Chris Colbert lost their first fight. You know what I'm saying? But he went in there and he beat the likes of Austin DeLay, who already had two defeats. The Clay Burns, Francisco Vargas, and most recent, the rematch with Chris Colbert. I would have liked that, but, we really haven't heard anything else about El Rayo being the one that's going to step in there and fight Gervonta Davis. Though I would like that fight, you know what I'm saying? I would like to see him in the ring. It's hard to gauge, is that the best opponent to jumpstart 2024? Does El Rayo give us the spark and electricity that we're looking for a card like that? I don't know, y'all. I really can't say. You know what I'm saying? I like the fighter, but does that give the it factor to jumping off 2024? I'm gonna say no. Frank Martin, does he give the it factor jumping off 2024? No, not in my opinion. But I did see this thumbnail that said Gervonta Davis, Tank Davis, and Subriel Matias are in negotiations for March 30th, which will take place at 140 for the IBF Super Lightweight World Title. Now, this is a wild hair right here. This is where I say Tank Davis fight rumors become spam central, because Leonard Ellaby has been on record as basically rejecting this as being in play, that Tank is going to move up to the IBF. I mean, 140, which he's already held a title, and face IBF World Champion Subriel Matias. Now, I am not saying this. I'm doing a live stream, and I'm basically consolidating all the spam that's out there on trying to determine who's going to fight Mr. El Chin Checker himself. I even put the legend himself, Gary Coleman, up there and gave you, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't even know who's fighting Gervonta Davis. I can't even go into detail, and I want, about Subriel Matias being the guy. Nah, it doesn't make any sense for Gervonta Davis. It doesn't make any sense if they're trying to once again provide the power grid, a jolt, to the Amazon, the first Amazon card, attached with the PBC. I mean, it doesn't give that jolt. It has a little bit of attention to it, but who's going to say, oh, man, he's fighting Subriel Matias? Nobody's looking at, okay, Subriel Matias walked down his opponent. They're not thinking about that with Tank. He tried to get that same pressure on Tank. It'll be a different fight. But ultimately, if we just going off his name, image, and likeness to provide that spark in 2024, it doesn't do it for me. And the person that put this up, I just grabbed it off Facebook because, you have people that just love putting out negative. So we have 3 names. Is it possible for one of these names to be on the card in March? I don't know. We're talking about boxing, bro. I don't know what the F to tell you. Boxing is the only combat sport I know that it's all about hocus pocus, man. It's all about the fighters don't know shit. And if they do know it, they don't have permission to put it out until this flyer comes on, or Michael Benson put it out. You know what I'm saying? Keith Idek. So one of those people put it out. That's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because the weird part about that information release is that those guys aren't really attached to a promotion. You know what I'm saying? These so-called first line of release, when they drop them the info and they put it out, and they want to see if everybody goddamn take a bite out of it like little goldfish and shit. You know what I'm saying? They're not really attached to a promotion, but they have followers, and they'll release that information to them to put out to the world. But this is getting out of control. This is spiraling into an abyss. And yet, this isn't the first time we've seen some shit like this go down. It's not the first time. It's free promo. It's free promo until PBC gets it together and find out, you know what I'm saying, how who's going to be on the card and all this. We haven't seen nothing, heard nothing. We haven't got just a little hint. Just a little hint. Frank Martin was up here talking about, can I get a little bit more? Maybe we need a little bit more. Hint. A hint. Give us a hint from somebody. You know what I'm saying? But once again, when it comes to boxing media release, it boils down to the same type of behavior. It goes to storytelling, clickbait, free promo, you know what I'm saying? Information that's not substantiated, rumor mill, and pretty much the hocus pocus where everybody want to give you all these scenarios and try to say, oh, let's break this down per the ranking system. Who could be the possible freaking common denominator to step in there with the one and only Tank Davis? That's what we go through all the time. And just look at this. We're in 2024 doing the same shit. And these cats actually believe they're going to change the landscape of journalism via the YTC platform. And they're speaking strictly about boxing with no real sources. This is what we got to deal with, the rumor mill, the spams, and all that. Man, come on, bro. Come on, man. This shit don't make no sense sometimes. This shit don't make no sense. I'm not all hyped up. If Frank Martin is talking about going through the ceiling, what ceiling, bro? Going through the ceiling for you stepping in there with a name. Let's just say, Frank is going in here and he's fighting somebody other than Tank Davis. It needs to be something that really gets us to say, oh, okay, all right, okay. Going through the ceiling, to me, it'd be fighting for a title, bro. Not in the possession of Tank Davis. Fighting for a title that allows you to build up your name just a little bit more. And in there with somebody who's going to give you a 50-50 grade. Somebody who's close to a 50 competitive grade with you, Frank. That's how I see it. Him going in there with Gervonta Davis, man, is, if that is indeed the case, it just further exposes how they're just randomly putting people in positions. Like, I don't see any sense with Errol Spence having his premier fighter to be sacrificed like this against Tank. People sit up here and tell me like, well, you really cutting Frank Martin short. He may go in there and do this, that, and the other. Yeah, you're right. He may trip and fall, going through the ropes and tear his meniscus and the fight get called off before it even started. You know what I'm saying? Him going in there and fighting Tank Davis, yes, it's a dangerous fight for Frank Martin. No, I cannot sit up here and say it's a dangerous fight for Tank, because Martin has not even come close to fighting a fighter on Tank's level, or even remotely close to Tank's level. So if Tank fights somebody at 140, okay, the shock value is going to be there, especially if they're a champion. If he fights somebody at 135, and we're talking about kicking off the card, it would be great if it was Shakur Stevenson. Now, you want to talk about a headbanger. That would do it. Tank versus Shakur Stevenson to jumpstart this 2024 card would be a headbanger. Seriously, that would be what we need. Why? Because it would be a unification bout. It basically it sweetens the pot, because now potentially we would get a unification to a possible undisputed fight later on in the future. Plus, Shakur Stevenson is equal that of Gervonta Davis with 3 divisions to his championship achievements. But you talking about Frank Martin kicking off the card, it's gonna fizzle, bro. And I can hear Rick Glazer now. You know what I'm saying? Rick Glazer. I call Rick Glazer Mr. X now. Rick Glazer's goddamn Twitter game is just on savage mode right now. It's on 1,000. You know what I'm saying? It's on 1,000 the way he be up there lighting people up. And he do it with etiquette. And none of these cats trying to stop him either. But Frank Martin ain't it when it comes to sparking up the sparking up the jump off for 2024. You know what I'm saying? The boxing bonanza of the first fight of the Amazon Prime matrimony. Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin ain't it, bro. I know I keep on saying that, but it ain't it. I'd just rather be somebody that's in his division, that's a champion. It's not many big names. Let me go over there right quick. Let me go over there. If you're in the building, hit the like button. I appreciate you. So of course, it's more valuable names for Tank at 140 if you're looking for the shock and awe, at the 140 division for his first fight this year. But when it comes down to the 135-pound division, this is why I was adamant about Frank Martin fighting Gervonta Davis. Why would you sacrifice him like that? And the IBF is vacant and the WBO is vacant. Why would you do that? It makes absolutely no sense at all not to allow that man to fight somebody like George Kambosos. Somebody, Isaac Cruz supposedly is talking about facing freaking Ryan Garcia somewhere. I don't know where, but check this out. You have George Kambosos that may potentially face Vasily Lomachenko because everybody want to fight Vasily Lomachenko. Keyshawn Davis now want to fight him, but rumor has it that George Kambosos and Vasily Lomachenko may be fighting for the IBF championship. Then in the WBO side of things, let's look at where Frank Martin is actually ranked. We already know he's number 5. He's in top 10 of WBC, right? He's top 5 in the WBA, and that's why it's easy for people to assume, Isaac Cruz been in there already with Gervonta and went the distance. Then there's William Cepeda. Does Cepeda have the it factor for the shock and awe effect to jump off this 2024? Nope. You know what I'm saying? It's tough, bro. It's very tough. Real talk. Does Edwin De Los Santos coming off his performance with Shakur Stevenson? Man, come on, stop. So let's go over here to the IBF. Frank Martin is sitting at number 10. He's ranked at the 10th spot. He's ranked, and I'm not going to get into the IBF. They have a lot of good names in the top 10. Muratalla, Baranchik, Keyshawn Davis, Cepeda, Maxie Hughes, Isaac Cruz. You know what I'm saying? A real solid group there. But in the WBO, you have Baranchik, Isaac Cruz, Fierro, Cepeda, and Martin. That would be the fight for him to take the WBO, which I'm assuming that's the route he will take, for him to go the WBO route and fight somebody like a Baranchik. He's not getting a Lomachenko. I seriously doubt it. If Frank Martin was fighting a Lomachenko, that would be a good fight to put on the co-main or whatever they're gonna put on the main card. But a Cepeda, somebody, just so he can get that WBO title, man, it'll be up to him from there. The dude is not getting any younger, and the WBO is where I think Frank Martin will nest if he's to show up on that card, the first card in March. That's where I think he will be. As far as Gervonta Davis, he can select anybody he chooses. The crazy part about it, and I'm just using this as a scenario for Vasily Lomachenko. I know there's somewhat convo with him facing Kambosos, which, come on. But Tank Davis fighting Lomachenko still has it. You know what I'm saying? He still has it. People would like to see if Lomachenko can go in there and outbox Tank. You know what I'm saying? They would like to see that shit, man. It's not like Lomachenko hasn't been sat down on his ass before. He's been on the canvas. You know what I'm saying? But he went on to stop Linares. But for Tank, Valenzuela is up there. Lomachenko. Lomachenko, his value, man, will give you the shock and awe. Tank fighting Lomachenko, wow. People are going to be hyping that shit up. Of all the fights that Tank can take, Vasily Lomachenko will be the numero uno it factor. We already know why. We already know his paperwork. We already know that shit. I'm just saying. And then I would say second, maybe Isaac Cruz, because they want to shut that shit down. But when you talking about him being the main event on the card, even Isaac Cruz don't give me that shit. Mainly because the way he looked in there against Giovanni, I was like, oh my God. No, you can't. You can't do that. No, Tank gonna be prepared for your ass next time. Schofield. Floyd Schofield. I'm not saying no one knows him, but I don't think he's in a position like Frank Martin is. More and more people are beginning to gather understanding of Schofield got talent. I look at his training videos all the time. You know what I'm saying? Dude is putting, his training out there, which is good for bringing his name out to the general public. I like that. I mean, his freaking strength and conditioning coach is a beast. And, that carries over to Floyd Schofield looking like a beast. But he haven't had the fight to display his beast mode. He haven't had it. Tank fighting Schofield on the main event? Nah. I can't even hold you on it. I can't do it. Edwin De Los Santos, heavy-handed, had Shakur Stevenson fighting at distance, very apprehensive about engagement. But the name, the spark, pay-per-view, it's just difficult. Who would Tank pick, man? I don't freaking know. Will he even pick somebody that's in the 135-pound division? And then you look at the 130-pound division. I mean, it's really not anybody that he can pull up that the fans will buy into. It's not. This is not no Hector Luis Garcia opening the year fight. No. We're talking about the extravaganza of a new network for PBC. They want to hit the road full freaking speed and get people tuned in. But when you look at him pulling somebody like he did Hector Luis Garcia from 130, I don't see it, bro. I don't see it. I don't see nobody. I see nobody. But at 140, it gets you to raise your brow a little bit. 140 got a lot of good names up there, man, to make that shit pop the way it's supposed to. Seriously. A lot of good names, man. A lot of good names. Especially the champions. Especially the champions, man. You know what I'm saying? Teofimo's already locked up. Rolando Romero. He's already been in there 135. Ray Charles ain't trying to see that shit. If he did have one wish, he ain't trying to see that fight. Devin Haney, of course. If Devin Haney was the fight that they was looking for to jumpstart that freaking card this year with Amazon Prime, Devin Haney would be the lone wolf. Absolutely. That would give it the factor that people would start talking about, and they would say, absolutely, man, that's what we want. Tank is fighting Haney. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just talking now. I'm just putting this information out there, disseminating it. Don't go up here and run talking about I said this, that, and the other. Playback game. Get clarification. But if you want to talk about spark, fireworks, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about genuine organic interests. That would be the fight. Tank Davis, Devin Haney at 140. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we all know he don't hold no title at no 140. We all know that. But them two fighting each other, who didn't even come close to fighting each other at 135, for Tank to move up to 140, and then for them to touch gloves, yeah, I like that. I like that fight. If T.O. wasn't locked in with Jermaine Ortiz, he would be another name, of course. But the other two, not so much. Rolando Romero, Subriel Matias, not so much. Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, yes. Main event, yes. First card of the year, absolutely. Absolutely. That would be the two right there. But, Devin Haney being the last one, there's not in a commitment right now, that would do it. That shit come out of nowhere. But I can't call it no. I can't call it anymore with how to attempt to predict what Tank's itinerary is gonna be. I can't call it, bro. I mean, they're so unpredictable. They're extremely unpredictable with Tank and his opponent selection. I just hope it ain't Frank, because it just wouldn't make no sense as far as where they're trying to take him in his career. I'm not trying to prognosticate he's gonna lose the Tank, but are you trying to build him into a world champion? Are you saying, okay, just do this for us, Frank? Go in here and fight Gervonta Davis, look decent, and then we're gonna do you just like we did Rolly Romero and get you a title shot regardless. I don't know, man. I don't know what the new regime is like over there. I don't know if they still have the same freedom. They might have ankle monitors on now when it comes time to make decisions, bro. I'm just saying. Hey, man, goddamn. I don't know. I don't know, man. I can't call that shit for nothing in the world. It's confusing. It's very confusing. This is what Rick Glazer had to say. Rick Glazer put out a tweet from X. He said, "What's really exciting me is waiting for an announcement on Frank the Ghost Martin next fight. I just lied." I'm telling you, Rick has been savage mode, man. He's been on his savage mode lately. Let's go to another one of his tweets. He said, doesn't PBC make for such great cannon fodder? You don't know what a cannon fodder is? That's just a simple, someone they call simple. Somebody just sitting in one place, wasting time, squandering the moment. They really do. Between being in debt $900 million that they are years behind on, they have lost deals with 9 networks. World champions on average, they fight every 14 to 25 months. Top 10 challengers that have not fought in at least 18 months. Their fighters almost always get destroyed when they fight other promoters' fighters. That's true. That's no cap. Countless arrests of their fighters. An owner that doesn't talk publicly. Their fans think that Al Heyman is a genius, despite the fact PBC is $900 million in debt. Heyman doesn't give interviews ever, hasn't been to PBC events in years, and a rapid fan base that thinks it's great that all the PBC events are on pay-per-view. But those same fans steal the pay-per-view that is the PBC. And the haters are going to say, I'm racist because I told the truth. This is #boxing the PBC way. Please repost this so everyone can read the truth. I think that was a heavy tweet right there. Heavy. That was the middle pendulum, the ball that's in the middle of a pendulum. That right there was what you call a summation of a tweet that can be considered as a projectile, y'all. That shit right there, do you know line for line what he mentioned in there? We're talking about how he put freaking PBC in front of the scope. You know what I'm saying? Target practice once again. He basically identified the time range of champions on an average. I know people are going to say, oh, that's not necessary. I'm telling you what people criticized me for interviewing Rick early. Talking about he was racist and shit, but couldn't show me one freaking tweet. Couldn't show me one screenshot. Top 10 challengers that have not fought in at least 18 months. Their fighters almost always getting destroyed when they fight other promoters' fighters. countless arrests of their fighters, and owner that doesn't talk publicly. This is a freaking projectile, y'all. This is what you call a mortar round. For real. This is what you call a crater maker. It's going to leave more than a blemish. Because he's getting some hard facts. He's firing off some hard facts. He said their fans think that Al Heyman is a genius despite the fact PBC is $900 million in debt. I've been hearing Rick talk about this for a while, and I haven't heard any type of legal repercussions. Why? Why I'm saying that? Because these same people he's mentioning, they try to act like it wasn't true. Now let's call a fat pig for what it's worth, right? Because when people see a fat pig, they think of pork. They think about slop. So just imagine him, Rick, putting out this, and he's highlighting once again the pro PBC channels that was putting this information out there, right? And how they glorified. But Rick been consistent with putting out the 900 million. He's been consistent with saying this shit. And they was mad. Boy, they was mad. They was mad. And they tried to say he was defaming. They was telling lies on him. But look what those same pro PBC channels said about Terrence Crawford. So how are they the one that can sit up here and believe they have a defense? You don't have a retort to this. You all said the man was lying, and he's still saying the same thing about your king, your Lord, your Savior, your ruler. He still mentioned $900 million in debt. Now, he got $900 million for somewhere, but he's absolutely lined up when he mentioned these channels that was praising the hell out of them. They was getting mad at people like myself and many others for criticizing the PBC. At one point in time, I basically attempted to support the PBC. I did. But also, I was supporting Top Rank too. I was like doing my journalistic duties. But these people are getting mad on the YTC based off what Rick Glazer is saying because they don't want to acknowledge it. They're in denial. They're just in denial, bro. It said Heyman doesn't give interviews ever. Hasn't been to the PBC events in years. You know what I'm saying? That is the PBC. And the haters are going to say I'm racist because I told the truth. You know what I'm saying? I've heard people say that, don't believe nothing Rick say because he hate the PBC. But none of them have been able to come even remotely close to debunking what he's been saying. The arrest has been happening. The average of months in between fights, yep, we've seen that. You know what I'm saying? Let me say this. It's a new year in the numeric simulation, you know what I'm saying, of life. It's a new year, new network. Now, as you've seen, Rick said he's went through 9 networks. So he's about to return with Amazon Prime, who is not going to be playing no games. I know damn well things are different over there. Whoever was able to sit at the table and talk, when the big wigs all got together to discuss what the layout was going to be for 2024, it ain't going to be none of that freestyling shit. I guarantee you that. And look, I wouldn't get too comfortable because Amazon gives me the vibes like if shit ain't working the way it's supposed to be, they're going to abort mission. And ain't nobody going to think anything about it, bro. They're going to say, well, that was Amazon Prime. Okay. Ain't nobody going to try to sit up here and goddamn attempt to get a hold of the founder of Amazon. It ain't happening. What they do know is what they fear. They do know that Rick has put out there 9 networks, and it's hard for them to have selective amnesia that actually works with seeing Showtime leave last year. They can have all the selective amnesia they want, but that shit happened. That shit happened. Let me get to Teofimo, to Crawford. So, recently Teofimo Lopez has been on social media, actively on social media, of course. And it's all good for him to be on social media talking, because he does have the gift for gab, and he's doing it in a way that these boxing fans can respect. Now, he was on live and he was talking about various topics, but he said that Crawford says he's the best. And I did a live on this previously, how I said, okay, Teofimo said Crawford said he's the best. I know I'm the best. When he was with Michelle George Phelps, and this is not verbatim, he kind of put it out there like, yeah, I called out Crawford. Oh, you called out Crawford? And he said, yeah, I want to fight the best. They say he the best. I want to fight he the best. I want to fight the best. That's what I want to do. He the best. I want to fight the best. He keeps on saying that. He the best. I want to fight the best. But yeah, he went into, he fought handicapped fighters. Well, that pretty much dilute what you just said. It makes no sense, because you say he the best, but now how is he the best? If you just debunk what makes him the best as far as his certificate of achievements, then you have nothing. So recently he said, Crawford says he's the best. I know I'm the best. Let's make the fight happen. See, he don't have to say he's the best. He's fought a guy on the pound for pound list just like you did prior to you. You know what I'm saying? He's became the first, even though T.O. says he's the one. But T.O. does have my respect in regards to what he's been able to do in a short period of time, a short window. But T.O. mentioned something in there that made me think, that little snake that gives him all this information, or whoever probably sent him. He had to listen, because I put something out there. I said that Crawford and Devin combined, in their biggest fight in one fight. And T.O. said on his live stream that, I don't know what you guys talk about. I got paid $10 million. He was claiming he got paid $10 million for a fight. So that tells me that he was listening, because I said, Crawford, what he got paid for Spence is more than what Haney and T.O. got in their best payday combined. And he tried to put it out there that he's getting paid big money. I don't really get into the numbers and try to bleed that over into the competitive, value that I want to get a fight, because what fighters get paid in the fight and what the performance value is quite different. It usually don't add up. Sometimes a fighter can go in there and get the check, and then before you know it, he's hitting the deck. You know what I'm saying? Check out, please. They don't give you the performance that you're looking for. Or some crazy shit happen when you expecting a fighter. You don't seen a fighter that's good, and you expect them to give you a lot more energy than what you're seeing before you. They just goddamn fizzle. They're what Rick said. They're a cannon fodder in the ring. And they just get the worst performance ever. But Teofimo calling out Crawford, I like it, man. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I like it, because nobody else ain't doing it. At least he's staying consistent with saying, I want to fight the best. Well, if you want to fight the best, T.O., you can't sit up here and say the man ain't fought nobody. Because in reality, you're basically diminishing you're fighting the best if you want to pretend like that's not the case. So anybody can say they're the best. But what makes them the best isn't your recognition. You know what I'm saying? You don't make them the best. If just like you say you're the best, Another fighter can't say, okay, I want to fight Teo because he say he the best. I mean, because, he's the best. You have to look at it like what he's accomplished, and you saying he's the best just based off who you are in the boxing game, it doesn't stamp it for approval. His paperwork says he's the best. So therefore you have to recognize him as such. It's going to be people out here when it comes to you being the best at 140, they're going to say, I'd like to see him fight Devin Haney, because both of y'all right now are 2 division champions. Both has been unified, undisputed in the division. But yet, when it comes to the 2 times, yes, Teo has that lineal title. He does, man. So that gives him a little edge, the gap, to separate him and Devin Haney. But still, at the end of the day, if you want to call out Crawford, you have to acknowledge that Teo, that he is the best in boxing, one of the best, right? And you have to acknowledge that is why you're trying to pursue him at 147, because you want to test yourself. You consider yourself to be best. So when you're calling out the man, you got to treat it like, okay, he's the man. I want to grace the square with him. I want to go in there and get those rounds in. I want to say that I competed against one of the greatest of this era. That's what I want to do. You can't half-ass it. You know what I'm saying? You can't half-ass it at all. You can't say, okay, I have you in conversation. Yes, I want some of that clout you got, but you ain't did shit to have the clout anyway. But I still want to fight you. You can't do that. You gotta praise him, and then you gotta try to make the fight. You're doing something that a lot of fighters aren't doing, Teo. You're consistently keeping Crawford's name in your conversation. I like it. I like it. Shout out to Mr. International, Toby Bartlett in the building. What's good with it, Toby? What's good, OG? Mr. Golden on deck. Shout out to the News by Shaw News Sauce Experience. What's good with it, fam? Team Tucker official on deck in the building. PBC robbed boxing fans of 3 months of boxing. Hey, man, when you talking about robbing in the PBC, man, come on now. I think they robbed half of the globe, that was in support of boxing when Spence stepped in there for the T-Mobile incident. Andrew Charles, what's good? Salute to you, brother. WCS salute. Salute, man. I see you. They robbed the boxing community of their freedom to basically support the sport, in a peaceful manner. It turned upside down from that day. And, I hope Teofimo Lopez, man, I hope he gets his shot. Because like I said, would I like to see Tim Tszyu before Teofimo? Absolutely. Because he has a belt. It's a higher division, of course. And another reason, what excuse they're gonna make for Tim Tszyu? A lot of people believe that Tim Tszyu has a very solid chance of going in there winning, and then you have Crawford fans who believe otherwise. But at the end of the day, Tim Tszyu has stepped in there with some very, very solid names. Very solid names. Teo had a belt, something to bring to the table. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And no doubt about it. Frank Martin don't have nothing except his skin color. And that goddamn moment of sitting over there like it was a freaking slumber party. It was a unisex slumber party. And they wanted to, we having some pillow talk over here. So tell us about that when you pulled out from Shakur Stevenson. What was going on? To be honest with you, all I needed was a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on, man. You blew it. You blew it. You should have went to another channel and really, let somebody ask you the questions that needed to be asked instead of people up there getting glossy-eyed because they was happy that you was there talking. They wasn't going to try to asked you a question like, hey, do you think it was that serious not to take the fight over that? Or did someone tell him, hey, Devin Haney's vacating these belts. Don't take the fight with Shakur. Don't take it for that. That better be it. I'm just saying, that better be it right there. Because if that ain't it, man, that's the dumbest thing ever. That's the dumbest thing ever, man. Look what they gave Rolly. You trying to tell Rolly can get 2 shots? Back to back, and look, 2 shots and a gift? And a gift? A reward? Toby says, salute WCS and the hottest chat in the YTC. We're global, baby. We're global. No doubt, man. Mr. International is on deck. Yeah, shout out to the UK boxing fans over there across the pond. You know what I'm saying? Salute to them. But Toby, I'm still gonna stand all 10 toes, man. You know what I'm saying? I think Francis Ngannou is gonna do what he need to do with freaking Joshua. Jay on deck, I see you, man. He said the bots are running Wilder on Twitter. I mean, been over there to really pay attention to that. You know what I'm saying? But do tell. Please enlighten me as the top. The top. What you talking about? The bots are running wild on Twitter. What do you mean by that exactly? You meant ruining, or you actually said running? I'm curious. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But the Teofimo Lopez, he said Teofimo Lopez won Terrence Crawford fight. Yeah, you have Jermaine Ortiz. I have T.O. going in there and stunting once again. He's putting out workout videos and basically promoting himself superbly. You know what I'm saying? I enjoy watching T.O. promote himself. I believe if a fighter understands they got the looks and the personality and people will listen, they should do it. That's more money potentially for that fighter to get picked up by sponsors. You know what I'm saying? And you remember when people were saying, oh, man, T.O. don't have it mentally. And I was trying to explain to them. I say, bro, he's right where he want to be. He have y'all locked in. He waited just till the camera come up there and say, bro, do I still got it? You know, he said that shit with a straight face, man. He was laughing inside, but he was standing with a straight face. Do I still got it, man? Do I still got it? I mean, come on. Y'all was up here thinking he was mentally about to have a mental breakdown, like he was about to turn into Ryan Garcia. But he had your attention. Once again, I repeat, he had your attention just like he wanted. Come on, man. He did that shit superbly. And they fell for it. And then he went in there and did what he had to do, took care of business. Now, this is going to be crazy, right? This is what I like about this T.O. and Crawford situation. Because they don't like T.O. because you got the Devin Haney fans that don't like T.O. You know what I'm saying? This is the greatest part about if this fight happened. Because these naysayers and haters, they're not going to be able to support anybody in this. Because you got the Devin Haney fans who are pretty much Spence fans. You know what I'm saying? So they're not going to support Teofimo if this match is made. And they sure enough ain't fucking with Crawford. You know what I'm saying? They're going to leave this fight alone. They're going to try to talk neutral. Well, this fight, it makes sense. It's good that T.O.'s doing. See, they don't want to talk nice about T.O. because they really want him to face Devin Haney. Because they've been talking this talk since 135. And you heard Bill come on there. Bill said, cut it out. That shit was hilarious, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. That's some old school shit. Like, hey, man, cut that shit out, man. Somebody come up to you and say, man, you know what I did? Man, I put hands on 15 dudes, man. They was looking at my girl. And I said, that's disrespectful. And they said something, I told my girl, hey, wait over there. I went over there and took care of business. And then they said, man, cut it out. Stop it, man. Cut it out. He told T.O. to cut it out. He said, leave Crawford alone. So when it comes down to the Devin Haney fans that really are basically intertwined with the Spence fans. They're not going to support Teofimo. And then those same fans don't like Crawford from Errol Spence. So they're going to be out of the loop unless they can goddamn exhale, right? And say, man, if I had to pick a winner based off what we know, because both of them barely have a resume to sit up here and jump up and down. And you know what I'm saying? You know, Crawford father weight trained Spence. He had cataracts. And then Tio, he looked bad against Sando Martin. But he looked good against Josh Taylor. And really, truth be told, he did the undisputed before Crawford. So, you know, when it come down to it, man, I got to get the edge to Tio. You know, that's what the Spence haters are going to say. You know, that's what the Spence, because they don't want to give Crawford no love, even if it requires them to be neutral and provide their genuine, you know what I'm saying, prediction. Who they think gonna win? Genuine, organically, they're not gonna do it because that's how much they hate Crawford. So we'll see if it ever happens, man. Smoke Session Sports and Entertainment. What's good? What's good with it? Salute to you, bro. Yeah, I got T.O. stopping Ortiz 7-12. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's gonna be a good fight. You know what I'm saying? Ortiz is not a bum by far, man. Ortiz is a solid opposition. Solid opposition, bro. You know what I'm saying? Very, very solid opposition. I like that fight. I do. I like, you know, I like some of these fights that's being rumored to happen that's coming up. I mean, I like it, bro. You know, but we have to see how they turn out. You still got the undisputed that's coming up. I hope Tyson Fury takes that. Seriously. I hope Tyson Fury, you know, becomes undisputed. Not for reasons that you think, because I know, you know, like I said, he's a cheater. But I look at Alexander Usyk. I don't know if he's gonna really entertain. Like, he don't have a personality. First of all, they know he's the champion, but I'm saying, like, I'm not gonna be mad if he does win. I'm not. But I'm looking at it more so some entertainment value. But going against the grain a little bit, it would be a bit contradicting for me to say I'm going for entertainment value and not history and legacy. When that's all I talk about is the fights they should go for history and legacy. So I wouldn't be mad if he came 2 division undisputed. Not at all. But as far as some big fights happening in the heavyweight division, I'm curious to know who they'll put in there with. Will they give Daniel Dubois a shot at all the titles? Would they give Anthony Joshua a shot for a third? Look, this would be the first time if this happens, right? WCS is gonna wipe the tears away once again. Pay attention. This would be the first time, I believe, that Anthony Joshua will be a fighter that if he is victorious against Anthony Joshua, this may be the first time a fighter that lost twice to the same fighter and come back and fight that fighter for undisputed. And he already was defeated by that fighter twice already as a unified champion. I think it'd be the first time. I say I think. It'd be the first time ever a fighter would be provided that opportunity to step in there for undisputed after being 0-2 against a unified champion who beat him twice for his own belts. He would step in there again and try to beat Alexander Usyk for his own belts. I don't see I don't just see the window. I don't see the clarity in that. Even with a magnifying glass, man, I just don't see people getting hyped up for Usyk 3, Usyk Joshua 3. But I do feel that they would get hyped up if Tyson Fury beat Usyk and Francis Ngannou beat Joshua. Because if Tyson Fury beats Usyk and Joshua beats Ngannou, who's gonna go in here saying that we expect Anthony Joshua to go in there and insidious type boxer, Tyson Fury. Much more clever, smart, even with his dirty tactics. It'll come down to freaking conditioning at the end of the day. But boxing IQ, Tyson Fury all day. Tyson Fury all day. And it would just turn into a defense of his titles. That's all. People look at it like, okay, Anthony Joshua get his shot again to unify titles. This is the first time he's stepping in there with Fury. Okay. All right, let's see if Joshua going to be the Joshua of this fight or the Joshua who fought this fight. You know, that's a conversation that they're going to have. But if Fury wins and then Ngannou and Fury and Ngannou wins, I'm telling you, you're gonna conjoin the MMA and boxing fans. Oh my God. But the Sheik don't think like that. He ain't going off pay-per-view numbers. The Sheik said the reason why he's investing all this time because he had health issues, and that's why he's investing, you know, putting all this money into boxing. Because from what I gather, he's the type of person to say, I want to see this while I'm still healthy enough to see this go down, because him being an avid boxing fan. So due to his health issues and everything, he decided to, you know, put his vested interest and money into the sport, which he's doing, you know, incredibly due to his budget. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Like, he's showing you he got a freaking endless budget. Some of the concerns that we always worry about over here with putting fights together, and we hear promoters talk about, he ain't speaking that language. He's not speaking that language. He don't have to speak that language. The man got his freaking money, and he can put on fights whenever he chooses to. And if I was any fighters that was able to set that boat of sail and try to make it over there and land on that sandbox, land in that sandbox while he's healthy enough to be putting on these fights, you better damn well take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? You better damn well take advantage of it. You know, unfortunately, Gervonta Davis may not be able to take advantage of it due to how he feels about a Floyd Mayweather and Al Haymon. You know, he may not get that opportunity. I know he's not signed with Mayweather, but from what I understand, Mayweather still has a significant influence over there when it comes to decision making. I don't know. I'm just saying it would be good if Tank could go in there and get about 60 mil for a big fight with Devin Haney, 60, 70 million. However they doing, like I said, I don't know the numbers, but him and Devin Haney would be big. Even if they're fighting in Riyadh. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That should be amazing. The Sheik is super fan from the fan with the bag, wanting to see the fights he won. Yeah, man, he's sitting up here talking to the people and letting them know what his intent is. You know what I'm saying? What is on his radar? And while American fans are clamoring, they're gravitating to this guy because they're sitting up here for a long time. I'm talking about for decades past, right? They're listening to someone who is speaking about fights they want. And they don't have to be played with the, we have to see. I don't know. We have to wait and see. We have to see what the number is. We have to do. No, that's not a dilemma that they have to deal with. This guy is making the checks in the box. Real talk. So when he says, hey, yeah, I would like this fight right here. I'd like to put this fight. And people looking at him like, okay, he's serious? I mean, I don't see him not being serious. That's the Sheik. The Sheik talks. People listen. Abdul is on the contract. But hey, what do I know? Prince Turkey is real life Richie Rich of boxing. He is, man. He is, man. That guy, he speaks, people tune in and listen. And I don't hear, look, I don't hear not one content creator here. Man, I don't believe that guy, man. He's just talking. He really can't make that fight happen. No. They have very limited familiarity with that whole footprint that's over there, over in Riyadh. And based off what's already happened over there, like I said, that same mannerism that we experienced, that same PTSD, the same dysfunctionality that we experience over here when it comes to big names, they know when he fight. I mean, when he talks about a fight, no, that just doesn't cross your thought process, man. You know he's gonna make it happen. I like it, man. You know, I like it. I like what I'm hearing, but we have to be patient. You know what I'm saying? Over here, you know, if you lean in too close to this and put too much psychological investment to it, you'll be on skid row, bro. You'll be on a different type of skid row when it comes to, you know, of disappointment, depression. You would be looking like the Ryan Garcia out here. You totally confused. You don't know which direction you're trying to go. You don't know how you're gonna get there. You're basically giving instruction to people. Oh, take me over here. I meant over there. But no, I meant back there. No, over here. You're not going to get that with the Sheik. But we'll see how this plays out, man. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Shaw News, you can provide some insight if you have seen any movement from the ground level. I'm talking about any movement with that list. Have you seen any type of varmints running around with paper in their mouth? Have you seen some insects flying around under the street light in the cold with freaking paper? Have you seen carrier pigeons from the sky dropping off? Have you seen storks? You know, something. Just let me know, man. You know, text me so I can do a live on it. But I have to make sure it's true, so it won't be clickbait or anything like that. If you see any type of movement, I'm talking about Marvel Comics. If you see a piece of paper hanging out someone's trunk and it says P on it, please try to chase it down. This may indeed be somewhat of a treasure hunt. We don't know. This may be a test. Whoever finds the freaking list first wins the lottery. It may be worth millions, people. That's all I'm trying to tell you. It may be worth millions. That's all. I don't know. All boxing insiders haven't said anything yet. My sources say. Hey, man, all I can say right now, you gotta disregard the boxing insiders. I think it's a freaking a treasure hunt. I think this is purposely put out there for us to search for the damn boxing schedule. And it's right here in front of us, man. I think somehow you go into a piece of place over there, and I mean, you see anything with a B and a C, a piece of wrapper, some type of trash. I mean, something. It might be a hidden message, bro. If you see the neon lights blinking uncontrollably and they keep giving you signs, go over it. Something might be on the ground, bro. You know, like they tow your car and they put that sticker on there where your car used to be and say, you can reach us at 555-662-5090. Please, we have your car. Maybe that's what we need to start doing when it comes to finding out this damn schedule. I'm just saying, it can be anywhere. Anywhere, y'all. Carrier pigeons, storks, you know, falcons, eagles, camels, kangaroos, dung beetles, you know what I'm saying, bullet ants. You know, this message, man, it might be somewhere in the rainforest, man. But it may be a cash prize attached to it also. Just think about that. In the meanwhile, man, y'all hold this shit down. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF and game, A-Side Official. We should do it again, man. Peace, I'm out.
Left jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best, you gotta show me son. Actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Hey, what you got to say there, champ? Yeah, man. What's up, Black? It's your turn. What you got to say? What you got to say? To this day! To this day! To this day!